welcome to Amy's Slime Reading Club and Red Monkey. Today I'll read you The Little House. Once upon a time there was a little house way out in the country. She was a pretty little house and she was strong and well built. The man who built her so well said, "This little house shall be never sold for gold or silver and shall live to see our great-great-grandchildren living with her." The little house was so happy, and she sat on the hill and watched the countryside around her. She watched the sun rise in the morning and she watched the sun set in the evening. Day followed day, each one a little different from the one before, but the little house stayed just the same. In the night, she watched the moon grow from a thin new moon to a full moon, and then back again to a thin old moon, and there was no moon. She watched the stars way off in the distance. She could see the light of the city. The little house was curious about the city and wondered what it would be like to live there. Time passed quickly for the little house as she watched the countryside slowly change with the seasons. In the spring, when they grew longer and the sun warmer, she waited for the first robin to return from the south. She watched the grass turn green. She watched the buzz on the trees swell and the apple tree burst into the blossom. And she watched the children playing in the brook. In the long summer days, she sat in the sun and watched the trees cover themselves with leaves. On the white daisies over the hill, she watched the gardens grow. And she watched the apple turn red and ripen. She watched the children swimming in the pool. In the fall, when the day grew shorter and the night cooler, she watched the first frosts run down the leaf to bright yellow and orange and red. She watched the harvest gather and the apple pick. She watched the children going back to school. In the winter, when the nights were long and the days short, and the countryside covered with snow, she watched the children coasting and skating. Year followed year, the apple tree grew and new ones were planted. The children grew up and went away to the city, and now at night, the light of the city seemed brighter and closer. One day, the little house was surprised to see the horseless carriage coming down the winding country road. Pretty soon there was more of them on the road and fewer carriages pulled by horses. Pretty soon along came surveyors and surveyed a line in the front of the little house. Pretty soon along came a steam and a shovel and a dug of road through the hill covered with daisies. Then some trucks came and dumped big stones onto the road, and then some truck with little stones, and some truck with tar and sand, and finally a steamroller came and rolled it all smooth, and the road was done. Now the little house watched the truck and automobiles going back and forth to the city. Gas lines, stations, roadside stands, and the small houses followed the new road. Everyone and everything moved much faster now than before. More roads were made, and the countryside was divided into lots, your houses and bigger houses, apartment houses and tenement houses, schools, stores and garages spread over the land and crowded around the little house. No one wanted to live in her and take care of her anymore. She couldn't be sold for gold or silver. She just stayed there and watched. Now it was not so quiet and peaceful at night. Now the lights of the city were bright and very close. The street lights shone all night. This must be living in the city, thought the little house, and she didn't know whether she liked it or not. She missed the field of daisies, the apple trees dancing in the moonlight. Pretty soon there was a trolley cars going back and forth in front of the little house. They went back and forth all day and part of the night. Everyone seemed to be very busy, and everyone seemed to be in a hurry. Pretty soon there was elevated trains going back and forth above the little house. The air was filled with dust and smoke. The noises were so loud that it shook the little house. Now she couldn't tell where spring came, or summer, or fall, or winter. It all seemed about the same. Pretty soon there was a subway going back and forth underneath the little house. She couldn't see it, but she could feel and hear it. People were moving faster and faster. No one noticed the little house anymore. They hurried by without a glance. Pretty soon they tore down the apartment houses and tenement houses around the little houses and started digging big cellars, one to each side, and a steam shovel dug down 3 stories on the side and 4 stories on the other side. Pretty soon they were started building up. They built up 25 stories, one up one side, the 35 stories in the other. And now the little house, Ollie, saw the sun at noon. She didn't see the moon or stars at night at all, because the lights of the city were too bright. She didn't like living in the city. At night she used to dream of country and field of daisies and the apple trees dancing in the moonlight. The little house were very sad and lonely. Her paint was cracked and dirty. Her windows were broken and her shoulders hung crookedly. She looked shabby, though she was just as good a house as ever underneath. Then one fine morning in spring, along came the great-great-granddaughter of the man who built the little house so well. She saw the shabby little house, but she didn't hurry by. There was something about the little house that made her stop and look again. She said to her husband, "That little house looked just like the little house my grandmother lived in when she was a little girl. Only that little house was way out in the country on a hill covered with daisies and apple trees growing around." She found out it was the very same house, so they went to the mover to see the little house she could be moved. But mover looked like a little house all over. She said, "Sure, this house is as good as ever." She built so well she could move her anywhere. So they dragged up the little house, put on her wheels, and traffic was held up for hours as they slowly moved her out of the city. At the first, the little house was frightened, but after she got to use it, she rather liked it. They rolled along the big road, and they rolled along the little roads until they were way out of in the country. When the little house saw the green grass, he heard the birds singing, she didn't feel sad anymore. She went to the long side along, but they couldn't seem to find us right place. They tried the little house here, I tried her there. Finally, they saw a little hill. In the middle of the field, and apple trees growing around there, said the great-great-granddaughter. "That's just the place." "Yes, it is," said the little house to herself. The cellar was dug on top of the hill, and slowly they moved the house from the road to the hill. This is a little house and traffic truck. The window and shutters were fixed once again, and they painted her a lovely shade of pink. As the little house settled down on her new foundations, she smiled happily. Once again she could watch the sun and moon and stars. Once again she could watch the spring and summer and fall and winter came and go. Once again she was living and taken care of. Never again she could be curious about the city. Never again she would want to live there. The stars twinkled above her. The new moon was coming up. It was a spring and all quiet and peaceful in the country. So that was the little house story, and I hope you like it, and subscribe my channel, like, share my channel, all to your friends and your boyfriend. Bye!